Have you ever looked at someone else's life and suddenly felt like you were falling behind? Not because your life got worse, but because theirs looked better. A better house, a better job, a happier family, a life that seemed to move forward while yours stood still. If you've ever felt that way, this story is for you. Because comparison doesn't always destroy your life overnight. Sometimes, it destroys your ability to enjoy it. And by the time you realize what happened, years have already passed. Victor had everything he once prayed for. The kind of life people dream about when they're struggling. A home that was finally his. A wife who still held his hand when they walked together. 2 children who ran to the door whenever he came home. A business that no longer kept him awake at night. 10 years ago, he would have cried tears of gratitude, just knowing this future existed. And for a while, he did. He noticed the little things. Rainy Saturdays, the smell of coffee in the morning, his daughter's drawings, family dinners that lasted longer than necessary. Life wasn't perfect, but it felt full. Then there was Adrian. Adrian wasn't wildly successful. That was the strange part. He was just slightly ahead. A newer car, more vacations, better photos, a cleaner house, a lifestyle that looked effortless. Every few months, there was something new, and Victor noticed. At first, he was happy for him. Then he became curious. Then curious became frequent. Then frequent became habit. Victor started checking Adrian's page every morning. Before messages, before breakfast, sometimes before even saying good morning to his wife. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt harmless. Just looking, just comparing, just wondering. But comparison rarely announces itself. It slips quietly into your thoughts, until it becomes the lens through which you see your entire life. One morning, Victor was scrolling through Adrian's photos. His daughter burst into the room. "Daddy, come see what I made." Victor raised one finger. Just a second, his eyes stayed on the screen. His daughter waited, then quietly walked away. Victor barely noticed. It was only a moment. Or so he thought. Slowly, his attention moved away from his own life. His family still laughed, but he laughed less. His wife still talked, but he listened less. He stopped noticing sunsets, stopped enjoying victories. Every good thing came with a question. Is Adrian doing better? Adrian bought a new car. Victor suddenly hated his. Adrian traveled abroad. Victor stared at his passport like it had betrayed him. Adrian posted smiling photos. Victor wondered if happiness had skipped him. The strange thing was, nothing in Victor's life had actually changed. His family still loved him. His business was still successful. His home was still warm. But comparison has a cruel talent. It doesn't need to take your blessings. It only needs to make you stop seeing them. His wife noticed first. "You've changed." Victor looked up. "What do you mean? You're here, but you're never really here." Victor laughed. "You're overthinking." But later that night, he sat alone and realized she was right. Even during dinner, his mind wasn't at the table. It was somewhere else, inside another man's life. Months passed. Victor became physically present and emotionally absent. His son scored his first goal. Victor missed it. He was watching Adrian's vacation stories. His wife stopped asking him to go for walks. Stopped waiting for long conversations. Stopped expecting him. At first, Victor didn't notice. Then one evening, he found a pile of drawings in a drawer. Old drawings. Crayons everywhere. He smiled. A crooked house. A smiling stick figure. A tiny girl holding his hand. At the top, in uneven handwriting, "Daddy is my best friend." Victor laughed softly. Then picked another drawing. Newer. Better. No daddy. Just his daughter. Alone. Victor called her over. He held up the drawing. "You don't draw me anymore?" His daughter shrugged. The kind of shrug children give when they've already accepted something. "You used to look," she said. Victor forced a smile. "What do you mean?" "When I was younger, I always wanted to show you things. I waited. You were busy, so I stopped waiting." She said it casually, then ran off, like she had commented on the weather. But Victor sat there, holding the drawing, feeling something collapse inside him. Because children don't always tell you when they're hurting. Sometimes, they simply adjust. And by the time you notice, the version of them that needed you most is already gone. That night, Victor sat in the bathroom and cried. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to admit to himself that something was wrong. And still, the next morning, he checked Adrian's page again. Because habits are difficult to abandon, especially the ones that slowly destroy us. Then one day, Adrian disappeared. No new posts, no photos, no updates, nothing. Weeks passed, then months. People started talking. Did he lose money? Get divorced? Move away? Nobody knew. Victor kept checking. Still nothing. Then one evening, at a grocery store, he saw him, Adrian, but something was different. He looked tired, older, thinner. His smile looked forced. They talked awkwardly. The weather, work, small things. Then Adrian laughed softly, not happily, just tired, and said, "Funny thing." Victor looked at him. Adrian smiled weakly. "Everyone thinks I'm living my best life." Victor didn't know what to say. Adrian continued, "I've been depressed for 3 years." Victor stared at him. "I lost my marriage." He looked away. "I barely see my son." Victor felt his stomach sink. Adrian laughed again. "Social media was easier. I could pretend there." For a moment, Victor couldn't speak, because for years, he had envied this man, this life, this image, and none of it was real. Or at least, not completely real. That night, Victor couldn't sleep. He walked slowly through his house, touched the walls he once prayed for, looked at family photos, stopped in front of one. His daughter was 6, missing front teeth, laughing so hard she could barely stand. Victor touched the frame, and tried to remember the last time she laughed like that around him. He couldn't, not because it never happened, but because he wasn't paying attention. That hurt more than he expected. Realizing he had been there, and still missed it. And suddenly, the truth hit him, not softly, not gently, but all at once. Comparison didn't make him poor. It made him blind. Blind to his blessings, blind to ordinary joy, blind to the people who loved him. And perhaps the cruelest part, he wasn't competing with Adrian. He was competing with a version of Adrian he created inside his own mind. A version that never truly existed. Victor walked quietly into his daughter's room. She was asleep, one arm hanging off the bed, her drawings scattered nearby. Victor sat beside her, and whispered, "I'm sorry." She didn't hear him. Maybe that was fair. Some apologies are not meant to be heard. They're meant to change you. And maybe that's the real danger of comparison. Not that it takes what you have, but that it convinces you to abandon it before realizing it was enough. So before you compare your life to someone else's, ask yourself, what blessings have I stopped noticing? What moments am I too distracted to enjoy? And what kind of regret am I creating today that I will have to live with tomorrow? Because happiness doesn't always disappear. Sometimes, it's been sitting quietly beside you all along, waiting for you to finally look up. If this resonated, consider sharing it with someone who needs to look up today.